Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is one that will take you through unexpected kindness, hidden identities, and a connection that changes two lives forever. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into this emotional and surprising journey. It was a quiet evening in a modest neighborhood, the kind where streetlights flicker on just before sunset and neighbors still nod politely when they pass each other. Daniel, a single father in his mid-30s, stood in his small kitchen stirring a pot of soup while keeping an eye on his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, who was coloring at the dining table. Life hadn't been easy for Daniel. Ever since his wife passed away 3 years ago, he had been doing everything he could to hold things together. Between working long hours at a repair shop and raising Lily, every day felt like a balancing act. Money was tight. Rent, groceries, school supplies, it all added up faster than he could earn. That's when he made a difficult decision. He decided to rent out the spare room in his house. It wasn't much, just a small, clean room with a window overlooking the backyard, but it could bring in enough money to ease the burden. Daniel posted an ad online: room for rent. Quiet home. Ideal for student. Affordable. He didn't expect much, but within a day, he received several inquiries. Most seemed unreliable or too demanding, until one message stood out. It was simple, polite, and direct. "Hi, my name is Emily. I'm a college student looking for a quiet place to stay. I'm responsible, respectful, and can move in immediately." They agreed to meet the next day. When Emily arrived, Daniel was surprised. She didn't look like what he expected. She was well-dressed, but not flashy. Calm, composed, with a soft smile and kind eyes. She introduced herself politely, shook his hand, and greeted Lily warmly. "Hi, you must be Lily," she said gently. Lily peeked from behind Daniel and nodded shyly. Emily looked around the house and didn't complain about anything. No questions about upgrades or luxuries. Just a simple, "It's perfect." Daniel was relieved. She seemed genuine. They agreed on the rent, which Emily paid up front in cash. No hesitation, no negotiation. Within hours, she moved in with just a couple of suitcases. From the beginning, Emily was different. She kept to herself mostly, studying late into the night, attending classes during the day. But she was never distant. She helped Lily with homework, cooked occasionally, and even fixed small things around the house without being asked. Daniel noticed it slowly. The way Lily started laughing more. The way the house felt lighter. One evening, Daniel came home exhausted after a long day at work. The smell of fresh food filled the air. He walked into the kitchen to find Emily setting the table while Lily excitedly talked about her day. "I made dinner," Emily said with a smile. "I hope that's okay." Daniel was taken aback. "You didn't have to do that." "I wanted to," she replied. That night, for the first time in a long time, Daniel felt something he hadn't felt in years: peace. Days turned into weeks. Emily became a natural part of their little family. She never overstepped, never made things awkward. Just quietly present, bringing warmth and stability into their lives. But there were things about Emily that didn't quite add up. Sometimes, Daniel would notice her receiving phone calls where her tone would suddenly become more formal. Or the way she occasionally dressed in high-end clothing that didn't match her college student on a budget story. And then there were the moments she would leave in a sleek black car that clearly didn't belong in their modest neighborhood. Daniel didn't ask questions. Everyone has their story, he thought. One afternoon, while cleaning the living room, Lily found something under the couch: a sleek, expensive-looking phone. She picked it up and handed it to Daniel. "It's Emily's," Lily said. Daniel nodded and placed it on the table. But as he did, the screen lit up. A notification appeared. It wasn't just any message, it mentioned a multi-million-dollar investment deal and addressed Emily with a last name Daniel had never heard her use. He frowned slightly but quickly shook it off. It wasn't his place to pry. That evening, Emily came home looking a little stressed. Daniel handed her the phone. "You dropped this earlier," he said. For a split second, Emily's expression changed, just a flicker of panic. But then she smiled. "Thank you," she said softly. Daniel hesitated. Everything okay? Emily nodded. Yeah, just school stuff. But something in her voice said otherwise. A few days later, everything changed. Daniel was at work when he received a call from Lily's school. She had fallen during recess and needed to be picked up. Panicked, Daniel tried to leave, but his boss refused. There was too much work. Before he could figure out what to do, Emily walked into the shop. I got the call, she said. I'm going to pick her up. Daniel was confused. How did you? I'm listed as emergency contact, she replied calmly. Without waiting for more questions, she left. That evening, Daniel returned home to find Lily resting comfortably, a bandage on her knee, and Emily sitting beside her, reading a story. Thank you, Daniel said quietly. Emily smiled. She's okay. Just a small fall. Daniel sat down, overwhelmed. I don't know what I would have done without you. Emily looked at him for a moment, then said something unexpected. You don't have to do everything alone, you know. Those words hit him harder than anything else, but the real truth came out the following weekend. Daniel and Lily were invited to Lily's school event, a small exhibition where kids showcase their projects. Emily said she would join them later. As Daniel and Lily walked through the school hall, he noticed something unusual. A group of well-dressed individuals, including security personnel, stood near the entrance. It felt out of place. Then, suddenly, there was a stir. People began whispering. Heads turned. A luxury car pulled up outside, and out stepped Emily, but she wasn't the same Emily. She was dressed elegantly, surrounded by security, her posture confident and commanding. She walked into the school like someone important, someone powerful. Daniel stood frozen. Lily tugged his hand. That's Emily. Before he could process anything, one of the staff members approached him. Sir, are you with Miss Emily Carter? Daniel nodded slowly. The staff member's eyes widened slightly. You mean, you don't know? Know what? He looked back toward Emily, who was now being greeted by the school principal with utmost respect. She's the daughter of Carter Industries CEO. A billionaire family. Daniel felt like the ground shifted beneath him. Everything suddenly made sense. The phone calls, the car, the behavior. Emily wasn't just a college student, she was a billionaire's daughter. Later that day, Emily approached Daniel, her expression calm but serious. I guess you know now, she said. Daniel struggled to find words. Why didn't you tell me? Emily looked down for a moment. Because I didn't want to be treated differently. I just wanted a normal life, even if it was temporary. Daniel shook his head slightly. You've been living in my house, helping my daughter, cooking meals, and all this time, I'm still the same person, she said gently. Daniel looked at her, really looked at her, and realized she was right. She wasn't pretending. She had been genuine from the start. I didn't lie, Emily continued. I am a student. I just didn't mention the rest. There was a moment of silence, then Lily ran up and hugged Emily tightly. Are you still going to stay with us? She asked innocently. Emily smiled, her eyes soft. If your dad says it's okay. Daniel let out a small breath and nodded. You're part of this home now, he said. From that day forward, things changed, but not in the way you might expect. Emily didn't suddenly become distant or leave. Instead, she became even more present. She continued helping, supporting, and being there, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. Daniel, on the other hand, began to see things differently. He realized that wealth didn't define a person, character did. Months passed, and their bond grew stronger. Emily helped Daniel start a small business of his own, using her knowledge, not her money. She guided him, supported him, but never took over. She respected his independence, and Daniel, in return, gave Emily something she had never truly experienced before, a real home, filled with genuine care and connection. One evening, as they all sat together watching the sunset in the backyard, Lily leaned against Emily and said, "You're like family." Emily smiled, her eyes glistening slightly. Daniel looked at both of them and realized something profound. Sometimes, the most unexpected people enter your life at the exact moment you need them the most, not as strangers, but as answers. And sometimes, the biggest secrets don't break relationships, they reveal their true strength. So if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because you never know, your next favorite story might just be one click away.